How's it going, guys? D Black Tay here, bringing you guys Samurai 8 chapter 32. And man, this was a really good chapter. Now, on Twitter, right before I get into this review, I noted that I had a small issue with the chapter, and I'm gonna bring that out later in my review. But it's not. I've kind of gotten over it now. I've kind of gotten everything put together in my head as far as what happened and what occurred. So when I get to it, I'll just talk about it in the chapter, right? So let's get into it. So this chapter was pretty fast paced. I think we had 2 minutes left to go after the last chapter. And during this chapter, we get the remaining 2 minutes, obviously. So let's get into this chapter because it's really good. So we get Sanda and Benkei. Benkei's like, hey, Sanda, look, if you want to be with me, kill all of them. You should be done with them. Your tie should be broken with them because we only do this for money. We only do this for keys, right? So that's Benkei's initial telling to Kotsuga. Later on in the chapter, we get a little hint or something that Benkei says that he's thinking. So I'm gonna bring that up later on. So he's like, hey, you either cut them down or I'm gonna cut you down along with them. So Sanda, he goes to attack Ryu. He's like, my name is Kotsuga. I kill samurai like you and I make money. While Ryu's captured. Remember, everyone got captured in the last chapter. So Sanda and Ryu, they're talking, and remember, these two, they have a very tight-knit relationship. So I'm really glad that Kishimoto's taking his time really developing and fleshing out their relationship, because this whole arc essentially has been a big fleshing out of them and a training arc, as Hachimaru's side story. I feel like Hachimaru's story as far as the tournament and the training, although it was like a big part of what was going on, I feel like Ryu and Sanda and everything that they had going on was a big focus in this arc. So Sanda, he goes down to cut Ryu. He's like, and he goes down to cut Ryu. And then we get this dope panel, this really, really clean panel. I did not think this was possible. This did not occur to me mentally or anything, but you can put gear inside of your samurai body, and it should have clicked with me when Benkei inserted the loaded gear into his body, but it didn't. So what Ryu has is loaded gear inside of his body. And what Ryu can do is, it's like these blades or swords or knives or whatever you want to call them. They come out, he cuts up the trap, and it's able to cut up the trap. So this can't just be, I don't think this is just any regular sword or technology. I think it's specifically only something that samurais can use. So I don't think it's like your standard material like your katanas would have. So he takes the sword, he breaks out, picks up a samurai sword. He's standing before Kotsuga, Sanda, and he's about to cut him down. And then Kotsuga remembers everything that happened within the ship of Daruma, where they got captured, and he told Ryu to cut everyone down, and then Ryu was gonna cut him down. So he remembers that Ryu was his partner and that they were partners, and then that whole bro moment that they had, their whole dynamic and relationship is just really, really dope and intricate for the 11 chapters we've gotten so far of them. To get 13, I think it's 13, about 13, 14 chapters, that we've gotten together with Ryu and Kotsuga, and their relationship has just been fleshed out amazingly. Alright, so we get that flashback from Sanda, and he's looking at Ryu. He's like, you're my partner, right? And then we see Sanda looking down as if he's accepted his fate, that he's gonna die. And then we get Ryu saying that your name is Kotsuga, you're a bad guy, you really are a bad guy. And then he winks. Remember that back on the key holder, before they exited to Planet Kinka and whatnot, Ryu told Kotsuga, hey, Kotsuga told Ryu that he winked at him and said, this will be our secret, like, to hide from Hachimaru that they might attack them and whatnot. He was saying that, hey, be on your guard because we might have to evacuate or they might lose or whatever. And he winked at him to let him know to keep it a secret, and that would be their secret, right? So that's like their secret code or whatever. And this is fascinating from the Ryu standpoint because he's had all these troubles remembering Kotsuka's new name, remembering himself, remembering just anything about himself, where he came from, everything like that. So seeing him remember the wink and that what it meant to their relationship was just very warming to see, very well handled. And Kotsuga, he was immediately shocked, right? He was like, yo, Ryu, like, I feel like at that moment he was like, wow, like you're a really special person to me, and I really hope we further see an increase in their relationship, right? So they wink. Kotsuga immediately understands, and then we get the death, a serious look in his eyes. I really love Okubo's paneling for the faces. They're really detailed. You can really see the emotion and the conviction behind the characters in the art, in the paneling. It's very, very well organized, right? So and this is where I had the issue in the chapter, right? So they run at Benkei. Benkei's like, what? No, before that, when Ryu's standing over Kotsuga, Ben notes to himself where he's like, heh, wasting time is gonna get you left behind. And then we have a thought bubble that comes under that where it says, I suppose I am done with the boy. So I think that is hinting that Benkei actually does care about Sanda, but he has his own conviction, his own reasoning, his own way of doing things. Because remember, when Daruma was talking to Benkei during their fight or whatever, he was telling him, hey, don't ever call yourself Benkei, Yoshitsune's apprentice. And Benkei was like, I really did care about my master. So that makes me believe that he really does care about Sanda, although he's pushing out these boasts and everything like that. I feel like he believes, because he even brings up in his chapter that, hey, the reason your father died was because of weak connection, the connections that he had, and he said that that's what made him weak, right? So I think that we're getting essentially the same thing that happened to Benkei in a very dang, I cannot think of the word. It's not a coincidence, but it's like I believe that he will face a similar fate that Yoshitsune faced, whereas he had a connection, and the connection helped in bringing him down in Kotsuga, right? So let's keep going. And this is where I had the issue, right? Because the paneling was just a little bit weird to me. It took me out of the chapter. Like, I was really enjoying the chapter a lot until we got to this moment. And it's where Ryu and Sanda, they speed blitz Benkei, right? I didn't have an issue with Ryu speed blitzing Benkei. I know Ryu can do it because I know how strong Ryu is. Shit, he cut Daruma's armor. Like, he's the only one we've seen do that. Like, we know Ryu is strong. My issue came in with Sanda or Kotsuga because he's a regular human. He shouldn't be able to speed blitz Benkei, in my opinion. So it took me a bit of rationalizing. I reread the chapter about 5 times, and here is basically what I thought is what occurred. So in the picture, in the paneling, right, we see Ryu on the left, Kotsuga on the right, and they're charging at Benkei. And then we see a slash through the side of Benkei that has Yoshitsune, and then we see a slash through the cord that connects Yoshitsune's ship holder to Benkei that allows him to use it, right? So we see that cut happen. So I'm thinking that means that Kotsuga, I mean not Kotsuga, but Ryu, right? Ryu, he cut Benkei the side with Yoshitsuna growing out of Benkei. He cut that side of him off completely. He split him in half there, and he severed his connection to the ship holder, right? So the part where Sanda comes in, and this just what I got from the paneling and whatnot, with the part where Sanda comes in, I believe he finishes off the portion of Yoshitsuna's body. It'll be kind of like putting your father to rest, essentially. That's what I believe. By doing it with his blade, his hand, he's ending his father's strife, or the thing that happened to his father, because technically at this case his father's not really dead, he's being used by Benkei. So I really like that panel where he cut down Yoshitsuna with this sword. I felt like that was really necessary. But the issue that I had was with how was he able to speed blitz Benkei. I believe that since Benkei combined with his holder Wakamatsu, that he has no control essentially of his lower body until he got connected to Wakamatsu. And I think that since Wakamatsu is such a big hefty target, that this allowed he's slow essentially. Benkei is slow. Like, he'll pack a punch if he hits you, but the problem is, can he hit you? So I think that's where my issue, my explanation for where my issue had came from. So they cut through Benkei, Sanda cuts through Yoshitsuna, they sever the connection to the traps, everyone gets free, and they start all charging towards Benkei to try to stop the missile launch. And now we're starting to get a countdown from about 20 seconds, I want to say. So Benkei, and you have to really give Benkei his credit, he has been a very, very, very solid villain this arc. Like, he doesn't give you the overwhelming intensity that Ata gave you, right? Like, when Ata pulled up, you felt that he was overwhelming and dangerous and scary. With Benkei, it's more like he's intelligent, he's resourceful, he's thinking, he's always trying to think outside the box, he has a plan of what he wants to do. He's not necessarily strong, he can put up a fight, he's not necessarily strong, but his calculations give him the nod over a lot of people, and this gives him his advantage, right? So I really like how Benkei has been handled this arc, especially because you get that he's able to compete, he's able to hold his own, but he's not necessarily a top tier fighter, right? So Benkei, he uses this knowledge, he traps Ryu and Kotsuga up in a trap on the back of his holder. Everyone starts charging at him, right? So he notices everyone charging at him. He slices through the 4 samurai from the tournament in one swing. Benkei, right? Benkei is hype. I really enjoyed that aspect. He cut down all 4 of them, he split them in half, and as we get the split in half, we get also the countdown to Yoshitsuna's ship holder releasing the angular warheads upon the planet, right? So the time factor that has been going on, I really enjoy, and it added to the chapter. It made the chapter feel a lot more intense, right? You feel like, oh shit, are they gonna get there in time? Right? So with Hachimaru, we get him at like 19 seconds. I know I'm skipping around, there's so much going on in this chapter, I don't have it in front of me right now, but Hachimaru pulls out his samurai soul, he jumps into the air, right? And praying, it's like 9 seconds left, right? Ryu is trapped, Kotsuga's trapped, he just split all 4 of the tournament samurai that lasted till the end in half. Like, it looks like Benkei is gonna pull it off, and then we get Anne praying as hard as she can, and then we get the transformation of the samurai soul to white. We get the panel of Black and White, where I'm really starting to think that this is the mind eye that we've been getting so far, where you can see the detailed panel, the detailed art, or the corruption within Benkei's sword, like the dark matter, the dark energy that Benkei exudes, because I believe that, you know, he's killed people. He doesn't live a righteous samurai way, so I believe he has a corrupted soul, obviously. So you can see the corruption, and then you see Hachimaru's shining white blade completely cuts it in half, cuts Benkei's holder in half. In one swing, Hachimaru is growing, right? So we get that. I think his sword, right? And I believe that Sin brought it up, that a princess's prayer purifies the samurai soul, and makes it stronger. So the more pure your samurai soul is, the stronger you are. In this verse, apparently, is what I'm getting. So Hachimaru, he was able to overpower due to his pureness and of his samurai soul, due to the pureness of his samurai soul, and him being able to awaken through Ant's prayer. So he cut him in half, and we still getting the countdown, right? So when he cut Benkei in half, it was 8 seconds left, and the 8 seconds basically symbolizes that, not the 8 seconds, but the number 8 is Hachimaru's name. Hachi means 8 in Japanese, or kanji, or whatever. We get that cut in half, and then we get Hachimaru trying to climb through. Not Hachimaru trying to climb through. Before that, we get Ryu activating his loaded gear again, and I wonder how long he's had the knowledge that he could use the loaded gear right now. But anyways, that's not important. So he starts running towards the location of Yoshitsune's key. He locates it, and then Benkei comes in, stabs Ryu in the back, because remember, he has that long staff, so he has reach. He stabs Ryu with half of his samurai soul, because when Hachimaru and him clashed, Hachimaru was successfully able to cut it in half. So he stabs Ryu in the back, and then we get the countdown. There's like 5 or 4 seconds left. Hachimaru is trying to climb through the severed Benkei that's been cut in half, and then Commander Sin saves the day. All right, he connects with his fellow sniper samurai that he has with him with him from the special force or whatever. I don't know if he's a part of it. He lines up everything, because remember, the samurai, he's a sniper. I believe he's a part of the Kongayasha, the other samurai that's with Commander Sin. I think he might be a part of the Kongayasha style. He uses sniper rifles and whatnot, and the same gear that Daruma was using when he was sniping with Kotoga earlier in the arc. So he uses those visuals basically as a thermal sight to look through walls and whatnot. So they link up, they find out where Yoshitsune's key is. Commander Sin uses the Gundari style silent strike, or hush strike I believe is what it's called, where he's able to project his arm almost like a projectile missile, heat-seeking missile. He launches it through the gap that Hachimaru created in Benkei. It reaches, we get a panel with his princess praying, and she is so cute. We get a panel of him, and it seems that he's able to control the thrusters that are attached to the hand, because we see them change form. The thrusters change angles when it touches down on the key, right? So we end off the chapter with 2 seconds left. Next chapter drops January 6th. But overall, the chapter from start to finish was really good. It felt kind of quick because, you know, it wasn't exposition heavy. It was very, you know, combat and a little backstory here and there. All in all, I gave this chapter an 8.5 out of 10. Just because the Sonda stuff kind of threw me off a little bit, but it's not really that big of a deal. The art was really fantastic. Yo, the art has just been amazing. Alright, I don't care what anyone says. Okubo has really stepped his game up. The storytelling was really well. Everything was really well done this arc, and I'm really glad that they have not done that anime trope where they stretch out 2 minutes for like 3 to 4 chapters. Oh my god, that would be annoying. So it looks like we're about to wrap up this arc in the next 2-3 chapters. It seems like I want to say 2 or 3 chapters. Let me know what you guys thought of this chapter down below. And also, I'm gonna say I'm doing a Discord stream. I don't want to say Friday. If not Friday, then if not this Friday or Saturday, then maybe next week, because there's a lot of free time. And also next week, what I'll be doing is a Naruto comparison of the first 30 chapters. So that covers us through the Zabuza stuff and the Naruto bridge stuff. So I'm gonna talk about the first 30 chapters of Naruto and compare it to the first 30 chapters of Samurai 8. And guys, that's gonna be a really good video because I just reread the first 30 chapters of Naruto. And whoo, boy, the nostalgia, the flashbacks, everything about Naruto that makes Naruto great. You feel it in those 30 chapters. You really tell where the story is going. I can't wait to talk about the comparison between these two manga because I believe they're being handled really well, but handled really differently. So I can't wait to do that video. Let me know down below who I should try to get into the Discord stream. Let me see if I can add anyone. You guys join the Discord. It's gonna be open to everyone. We're gonna have a goddamn Wang Dang Do up in here. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. So don't forget to tune in. And oh, for the love of God, someone please give me one more sub so I can exit this year on 50. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will be seeing you guys soon. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and peace.